Hey Sammy, it's Dr. Scott. So I have some feedback for you on your visual analysis, and what I'm going to kind of do is just walk you through my comments on the essay. I printed it out, jotted down a few notes, and I'll share those with you. And I'm going to cover the four main criteria for this assignment, and that's a thesis statement that makes a claim that has reasons, a debatable claim, and that it kind of getting beyond the obvious, so that's what makes a good thesis statement. So I'll be talking about that. I'll also be talking about organization, like how you have your ideas organized, also details from the murals to support your thesis statement, and then the last criteria is how you're integrating sources. So I'll talk about all those things as I go through. Those are the four main criteria for the assignment. So we'll start off with thesis statement. That was the first criteria that we're looking at here, and this for me, this is the start of your thesis statement right here. This is where it's at right now. And I think that it's a good starting point. The thing that it's missing at this point is really a claim. Like, it's not really, it's just saying that the murals show something. A contrast of then and now, but it's not really making a claim about what people are supposed to think about that contrast. So, like, they use that contrast to inspire people in the city, or to make them feel pride in their town, or to show how far the city has come. Like, it's not clear to me, like, what, just having that contrast there, that's just, I don't think you can really debate that. Like, the town is different than some of the times that the mural represents. So I want to challenge you to kind of think a little bit more about what the murals are trying to get across. Are they trying to make us feel proud of the town? Are they trying to make us feel about that, are we supposed to feel like the town was so much better back then, so why does the town suck now? Like, it's not, there needs to be some kind of claim there, something that we can kind of debate. Right now it's not that debatable to say that there's a then and now, like things were different back then. As far as this stuff here at the end, like the buildings, equipment, and people, like, I actually think that that's a pretty solid part of your thesis statement. So, like, how do they get this idea across? And the idea you'll need to think about and brainstorm, but the way that they get it across is through the equipment, buildings, and people. And I think that that's pretty solid. The issue I have getting into the essay is that the paragraphs are organized not necessarily by buildings. They're organized by murals. So I think if you have something like buildings as being a criteria that you're looking at, an idea that you're looking at, that helps get across pride or whatever you end up writing about, like, you need to include both murals. But here you have, like, this paragraph is about the Shawnee State murals and the building, and then this other paragraph is about the people or the equipment and the medicine mural. And I think that if you're choosing something to write about, you need to be able to write about both murals. And right now, it just seems like the paragraphs are organized by murals and not necessarily by ideas. And the ideas need to drive this, because this is an argumentative piece, an analytical piece, so it needs to be your analysis that's driving it, not just the murals. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. On Monday, you're going to have time in class to kind of ask me questions and kind of clarify things if things are unclear, and that happens a lot. But let me know what about this isn't kind of making sense, because that's super essential for you in revising this essay. As far as the sources that you use, the sources that you should be using are the ones that I had provided to you. So the documentary, the fight essay about the history of the flood wall murals, and then there's that other essay, I think it's by Conrad or Conway, that's about what murals teach people. Here you're using the Shawnee State website, which that doesn't really kind of work for this assignment, because that doesn't really help you analyze the message of the murals. It kind of just says something about the town, or says something about Shawnee State. And I'm on the fence whether or not you have to cut that. I guess you're fine keeping it, but you definitely need to use the sources that I provided in class. Something else to kind of think about is that down here, like when you're talking about the equipment, You're only talking about the equipment in this mural, and I've already mentioned some concerns that I have about only setting up paragraphs by the murals and not by the ideas. And you should be talking about both murals in your body paragraphs. The the education murals is more than just the Shawnee State mural, like the buildings. Like, this is one part of, like, I think a 3-panel mural that's about education. So I think it's fair game to take a look at the equipment that's used in the education mural and kind of pair that with what you're seeing here. So you can be able to talk about both sets of murals in this paragraph. You can also talk about both sets of murals in this paragraph, because you have the buildings here, and then you also have these buildings that are around here that you're not really kind of discussing. And so, again, like I know I mentioned this before, but it bears repeating, and it's an important thing to think about as you revise. You really do need to write about both murals in your paragraphs, because the whole essay should be about what kind of claim you can make about, like, what the murals are trying to teach, what both of the murals are trying to teach or show, or what's the message that they're trying to provide to people in the town. And it should be both murals that are making that message. So kind of separating your paragraphs off and saying one paragraph does this mural and the other paragraph does that mural. That's not really what the assignment's asking for. It's tough. This is a tough assignment. So if you don't get disappointed, a lot of folks are kind of in the same basket, but you'll get there. The last comment I'm going to make is about kind of like connecting your details back to some larger message. And again, that message isn't there in the thesis statement just yet. So again, what is the thesis statement? Or what do you think the murals are trying to get people to think about Portsmouth? They're trying to get them to have pride in the town, or they're trying to get them to think about how great things were back then, and maybe they're not now. Like, that's a issue that you're going to have to kind of settle. Each of the paragraphs needs to kind of get back to that idea. So you have a lot of great details in your writing. And so, like in here, you're writing about the surgeon uniforms, light green clothing, and stuff like that. At the end, there needs to be some kind of discussion about, like, okay, these details, or not at the end, but like after you discuss some details, you need to kind of connect it back to the paper's overall argument, which is that these murals are trying to get people to think a certain way about the town. So what are we supposed to think about the town after having some of these details? Like, maybe that we're staying on top of cutting-edge technology, or that, we take care of people with the latest technology and the latest techniques and methods. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of guessing here, but there needs to be some kind of idea that you're connecting these details to, and right now there's not. You're further along than a lot of folks, because you are kind of thinking about people, equipment, and buildings and concepts like that I think you can write about both murals, or both sets of murals, in each of the paragraphs. You're not doing that just yet, but you definitely can. But the big issue to think about is, what are we supposed to think about the town after taking a look at these two murals? What's the message that they're trying to convey about the town? Let's talk grade for a second. The essay needs revision. And as far as thesis statement, I think the essay is close to satisfactory. It needs that message part of it, which is a huge part of it, of having a good thesis statement. And I can help you out with that. Supporting details. The details are there. They're just not really supporting a thesis statement just yet. Organization and transitions. I didn't see much of a reason of why you were going from one paragraph to another, and there needs to be a reason why you're doing that. Was there one, were the buildings like the most effective way that Dafford got his message across, and that's why you began with that? Or what was the reason of having the buildings paragraph come first? There needs to be a reason of why you have ideas in one place, in the places that you have them. Source integration, you're close there with the source that you have. There were sources that I wanted you to use that weren't in there. And then the other criteria with like MLA format, the captions, like the figure 1 and stuff like that, there should be a description of what it is we're looking at there. And also, I don't remember seeing a list of works cited. Oh, there it is. There's your list of works cited. Looks pretty good. But you're close there. You're much closer there than on some of the other criteria. Okay, so that's it. On Monday in class, you'll have time to ask me questions. And of course, next week, you'll be able to ask me questions as well. Your revision is due a week from Monday, so that's going to be the 23rd. All right, I'll talk to you soon, Sam.